Hi, it's Amelia again. I wanted to film a video showing you my Pan That Palette and Project Pan stuff for 2018. So I wanted to start with what I am putting in my Pan That Palette. As you can see, I'm panning a lot of Urban Decay shadows this year. I'm not planning to finish all of them, so I wanted to talk about in this video what I plan to finish, what I plan to hit pan on, and stuff like that. So starting with my original Naked palette, this palette is 4 years old and has only 3 eyeshadows with pan showing. That is sad to me. So I want to finish as much as possible because I don't want it to expire. I put this sticker tape thing in gold over the 4 shadows that I love the most. And the reason behind that is when I pan products, especially eyeshadows, I tend to focus on the things I hate first because I'm like, get rid of what you hate and then you'll be left with only things you love. Like, that makes sense. But for an old product, when time is not on your side, I think my strategy is going to be to pan what I love before it goes bad, and everything else won't really matter. Now, just because I labeled those 4 doesn't mean I don't love everything else. It's just, sorry to switch hands. Those are just my absolute favorites that I would consider repurchasing in the future. Sidecar and Smog being my top 2. I can't figure out which would be my number 1. Ones I don't like would be Creep and Gunmetal. Gunmetal I'm okay with. Creep I just hate. I actually like Gunmetal all over the lid. I'm going to go back and watch people's panning videos of this to get tips on how to use it. It's just like, I like it, but it's a shade I use every once in a couple months. And it's like the one look where I put it all over my lid. So it's not very useful in terms of trying to pan. So I just don't know if I would be able to pan that because I only do one look with it that I like. Creep I can put on the outer corner of my lower lash line and use that up, but it would take a long time. You can see there's a dip in it, but that's from my angled liner brush, but I really don't use that much. I really like Hustle almost as much as the shades that I have labeled. It's just when I was breaking down the palette into loves, likes, dislikes, and hates, this didn't make it to the top tier. Neither did Dark Horse or Naked or Sin, which are in my like it a lot but don't necessarily love it to the point where I would pay $19 for a single. Virgin and Buck, they're sort of like shades I use. They serve a purpose, but they're not something I'm excited about. Like, I'm excited to use Sidecar all over my lid or something like that. Or like Smog in the outer corner with Half Baked. Like, that's a look I'm excited to do. But I'm never like sitting there like, oh, I can't wait to use my generic matte brown in my crease and my generic satin light pink. It's like a, I think it's described as like an oyster pink or something like that. Like, it's just, they're not exciting shades in general. So no matter how good they would be, they're never going to make it to the loves side of the spectrum for me. Naked I actually really do love, but I've found mattes of better quality since I've had this, because this is my first high-end palette, as for many people it is. So it's like, at first I was like, oh my god, this is the best matte I've ever owned, I love it, I've hit a lot of pan, but like now that I have Viseart and Anastasia shadows, Naked and Buck just aren't cutting it. So they're just not loves for me anymore. So my goal for 2018 is to finish Sidecar, Half Baked, Smog, and Toasted, and to hit significant pan on the things I like a lot, which would be Sin, Naked I already do, Dark Horse, and Hustle. I would ideally like to hit pan on everything and have them be at least as big as the pan in this one, but I don't know if that's possible because I'm working on other shadows as well, which I'll be talking about in a second. So this is my Naked 2 palette. As you can see, I've finished, I'm going to see if I can get the light to reflect on all of them at the same time. I finished Foxy over here and Blackout because those are essentials to me. I've hit pan on Booty Call as an inner corner highlight, and then Snakebite and Suspect. And like the Naked palette, I've labeled my favorites. On this end of the palette, starting, sorry, gotta figure out how to hold it. Starting here on, I love all of them, but I didn't label Verve or Busted because they're like, Verve is just an inner corner highlight, and Busted I use on my lower lash line to deepen things up. They're not like super loves, they're just, I really like them and they're good at what they do. So I basically labeled all my favorite lid shades because that's what really makes me excited to do my makeup. What I don't like about this palette is Chopper and Tease. Tease because the mattes aren't as good as mattes that I have now. Chopper because I really hate orange, and this is basically as cool toned of an orange as they could come up with. If I were to get rid of Chopper, like when I look at my palette covering that, that's not going to work. Like this is a beautiful palette to me with Foxy and Blackout in it. But then they like just throw in that orange, and I'm like, it makes me hate this section of the palette just because I see it. But then when I cover it up, I'm like, oh, I love the entire palette. So I've used a lot of that actually. I've scraped out product to mix with other shadows, and I finished those. I have no plans of finishing that unless I somehow miraculously get through every other shadow in this palette and my Naked palette and my singles. That would be the last thing that gets finished. So I really want to, I labeled this Half-Baked also. This one is more cool toned than the one in the Naked palette, the original, which I enjoy. So I don't actually know which one I plan to finish completely. I don't think I can get through two of basically the same shade. But I do want to get through the ones over here, these four. YDK being one of my all-time favorite shadows, just in general. And then these three I really do like a lot. Tease I plan to hit pan on, but I just don't know if I'm going to get through the mattes in these. In the beginning I'm going to try to use them in every look I'm doing, but by the end of the year I just don't know. For Busted and Verve, because I like them a lot, I do want to attempt to pan them, but I have a lot of inner corner highlight shades in this project, so Booty Call and Verve in this palette, and then Virgin and Sin in the Naked palette. There's those, basically they all do the same thing. They're going in my inner corner, but then I also have two singles that do the same thing, so I don't know how many I can finish, but I want to see if I can hit pan on all of them as my first goal of the year. And I think that's all I want to say about this one. Okay, so the Naked 2 is actually, I think, closer to 3 years old. So everything here is just old eyeshadow that I want to finish before they expire. And one of the oldest shadows I have besides those two palettes would be this one. This is Midnight Cowgirl Rides Again. I got this in July of 2014. It's just a pretty, it's like a pink glitter shimmer, but not a bad glitter. Urban Decay has a lot of shit glitters. This one's really nice. And I just love it, but it's like, I got it in 2014. It's now 2018. Need to move on. This is Midnight Cowboy Rides Again, which is similar to that one. They're the same formula, but this is like a cool tone version of that. It's like a cool tone light pink with glitter in it. It's almost like, it almost has like a taupe tone to it. This I got December 25th, 2015, so it was a Christmas gift in 2015. That was a long time ago. I need to use it up. This I think I got the same day. Let me check. Yes, this I got with Midnight Cowboy Rides Again. This is Twice Baked. It's a similar glitter formula. It's just a pretty brown. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with these. I love them. It's just they're getting old, and I want to make sure my old products are getting finished, or at least have enough pan to make them look like they're the age that they are. Like, my biggest regret is that, like, this is my oldest palette, and it looks like I just got it a year ago. I want my products to look like I've been using them and to make them look loved before I throw them out, because at the end of the year, if this expires, or the end of next year, I want to be able to look at it and be like, you know what, I got a lot of use out of it, I finished everything I love, the things I'm throwing out I don't care about. That's sort of my goal for all of this. And then at the end of the year, I want to decide, you know, is this stuff something I would want to repurchase? I don't know. I keep saying I'm going to repurchase this one because there's just so many shades in it I love. But to be honest, I'm not going to know until I use it up. So that's my Pan That palette for this year. There is a tag people are doing called Let's Get Naked. I was supposed to double check the name of the ladies that started it. I will put it in the description on Instagram. I'm just going to use that tag whenever I update my Pan That palette. And yeah, so you should follow people on there because they're basically doing the same thing I'm doing, where they're taking products that are Urban Decay Naked, in the line of the Naked stuff, and they're panning it. Mostly just, I think one of the women that started it is doing all 4 of the Naked palettes besides the Naked Heat. Naked 1 through 3, and then the Smoky. I obviously don't have those. I used to have the Naked 3, and funny enough, it was one of the first things I tried to pan, and I hated it so much that I decluttered it. So I'm not going to declutter these because I know I love them. So I do think I'll be successful in my Pan That palette. I do have a list that I wrote out of all the shades I'm panning. I think it's 25 total. I'm going to check them off whenever I finish them, and then maybe on the back write like the dates that they were finished, just so I can see how my progress is going throughout the year. So yeah, this is my Pan That palette. This is my project pan for 2018, unless I add more stuff to it. So I just wanted to go through and talk about why I chose what I did, and some things that I wanted to note about how I actually want to pan them, meaning not everything is going to be finished necessarily. The first thing I want to talk about is my 2 blushes, because that's the most important to me and the most exciting. So aside from these 2 blushes, I actually only have 3 other blushes, one being a smaller version of a hourglass blush, the other 2 being full-size hourglass blushes. Excuse me. This is the Tarte blush from the Sephora gift this year, the birthday gift, in Party. Party spelled with 3 A's, so it's extra exciting. This is like a pretty nude pink. This was decluttered to me, I think, or I traded my friend for it, whatever, I don't know. The Butter blush in Plum Rose. I wanted to practice like my filming, like me talking in front of a camera yesterday, so I like did a picking out my project pan video. It's not good quality, I'm not posting that, but in the video I was trying to figure out which blush should I pan, and I decided to add them both to my project, and here's my logic behind it. This has 0.05 ounces, or how many grams is that? 1.5 grams. This is the size of an Urban Decay full-size shadow, like in the Naked palettes or in the singles. It's the same size. So this is not a ton of product for a blush. However, it's really pigmented, so not that I have to be light-handed, but compared to this, I can't dip back in this multiple times and throw it on my cheeks. That's just not a good idea. With this one, I have to dip in it 2 to 3, maybe more than that, times to get color payoff, because the first swipe, it's just like, it just looks like satin my skin color. Like, it looks like, I mean, I could probably use it as like a satin highlighter if I wanted to, but when you build it up, you get color. So, but this has, I think I already said it, but 0.26 ounces or 7.5 grams. This is a big ass blush in my opinion. And I can't figure out which would be faster to pan because this has a lot more product, but it takes more product built up per makeup application. This one has a lot less product, but I can't apply as much as that one. So I was like, what would be faster? Because last year I was trying to pan Mood Exposure, the Hourglass blush. I didn't even get to hit pan on it. It just took so long. They're just so pigmented for my skin tone, which I like. That's why I like the Hourglass blushes. They're like the right amount of pigment for me. So this year I wanted to actually hit pan on a blush and maybe finish it. I wasn't sure which one, based on the difference in pigment and size, would be easier for me to actually hit pan on and finish. So I decided I'm going to put both in. I'm going to just use both of them as I feel like this is warm and this is cool on me. Use it as my makeup is changing, which works because I'm panning a warm and a cool palette. And then whatever hits pan first, I'm going to focus on. And if I get sick of it, I can obviously use the other one. But then, ideally, I would like to finish these and get them out of my collection. And then maybe, I'm not planning on getting any more blushes for, I don't know, a long time. I think it takes me about a year to go through a little over a year to go through an Hourglass blush, like the small size. So I have 2 full sizes in the Mood Exposure when I was trying to pan. It takes me a long time to go through blush, and blush is not something I'm really into compared to like eyeshadow and lipstick. So I'm not going to ask for blushes for Christmas or birthday. I'm not going to purchase any. I'm just going to focus on these. Maybe it'll take me 2 years to go through these, and this will be a 2018-2019 thing. That's probably what's going to happen with my Pan That palette anyway. So, I don't know. I just want to get these out of my collection and then see what happens with my Hourglass blushes when I get to that. So, next, everything else besides this is lip products. This is the NYX Wonder Pencil in Light. I have a waterline that will not take product. The only time I've ever gotten anything to stay in my waterline is when I put gel liner there. And I don't own the gel liner that I used to do that with because it was a Maybelline one. And I'm cruelty free now, so I can't buy from Maybelline. Or I choose not to. So I wanted to see if this would work, and it just doesn't really work in my waterline. But because it's the Wonder Pencil, I think it says it on here, you can use it for concealer, as an eye brightener, or a reverse lip liner. I want to try out different ways to use this and find a way that I enjoy using it. Because that's sort of the point for me of a Project Pan, to use up products I don't necessarily like in a way I do like. I want to see what I can do with this. I'll show you what it looks like now. There we go. I don't think I've sharpened this recently, but this is how big it is. I've sharpened it enough. It's like, I've tried to make this work for me, and it's just not doing what I want it to. We'll see what happens with this. I just don't want this in my collection anymore, and I guess I could try to find someone who might want it to declutter it, but I kind of want to see if maybe I could enjoy it another way, and then maybe I would want to repurchase it. I want to see what I can do with it first, and then if I really can't figure out what I like from it, I'm just going to see if I can declutter it. It's not that old, I don't think. I can check the age. If it's really old, I'm just going to throw it out at the end of the year. For lipsticks, I think this is the oldest one here. This is Bite Beauty Sugarcane. I love this color. I plan to repurchase it. It's just old, and I don't want my lipsticks expiring on me, so I'm putting old stuff in. This is also old. This actually is older than that. This is MAC Please Me. I didn't finish it this year. As you can see, I've gone all the way to the plastic. Let it focus. Hold on. There you go. I've gone to the plastic of it, and I have a dip in it. It's a nice color. It looks like it matches my sheet here, but it's actually not as hot pink. This is a color I bought because I wanted, well, first of all, I saw a review where someone was saying that this is like a nude pink on them. They were much darker than me, and I guess I didn't take that into account, so when I got it, it was bright pink on my pale skin. I liked it, but I only have one hot pink lipstick that I like wearing. I never reach for, I only have, when I'm doing my makeup, I'm either wearing a nude, like this kind of nude, like almost a concealer, or I'm wearing my bright electric hot pink. I don't do in between. This is too far in between for it to work for me, so I just want to finish it. I did well this year with getting it all the way down to the plastic. Some people consider that done. I don't. I want to depot this, but at the moment I'm depotting products into this Anastasia Beverly Hills jar, and this has one of my other products I'm panning. This is NYX Stone from the Turned Up lipstick line. I like the color of this. I'm not a fan of the formula, but it's not the greatest. It fades extremely fast. I don't know if it's because my lips soak up the moisture really fast or what, but like, you have to reapply this a lot. So I just want to get this done and then depot this into there. This is the only other bullet lipstick that I have left. This was a gift from, I asked for it because I really want to find a dupe for Bite Beauty Retsina, which is my favorite lipstick of all time. I heard that the Charlotte Tilbury Kim KW, is it? Yeah. I heard that this was similar. There's a thing where all the beauty gurus were raving about it, and there was a conspiracy that maybe they were sent it and were paid or something, and they were lying. I'm not saying that they were, but like, the formula isn't that great compared to other lipsticks, like especially compared to like Bite Beauty or even the MAC, because maybe it's just for this color, but you need a lip liner under it or else it's really streaky. It's just like, this looks like I wiped a concealer all over my mouth. I'm sorry the lighting's changing. I'm using my window light and I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if it's just my camera or if you can actually see what's going on, like the viewfinder, whatever. So I want to try and finish this up because it was an expensive gift and I do like it over my lip liner that I have. So I want to make sure that if I ask for something as a gift and I know a way to use it that I like, I should use it like that. These are my two liquid lipsticks. I'm panning this one. This is Nudie Patootie from the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit line. I'm panning it because my friend decluttered hers to me, and since mine I've had longer than she had hers, I want to just get through mine. It's starting to get difficult to use, which I think means it's towards the end of its life. If I finish this relatively quickly, I'll just throw in my other one. Because whenever someone declutters a lip product to someone else, you have to be worried about bacteria and stuff like that. So I just want to, hoping that I don't get sick, I'm not that concerned about it. But like, say that has bacteria growing in it and I realize as soon as I start using it that it's making me sick because bacteria or whatever else is in it. I keep repeating myself, sorry. Like, I can just throw that out and get a new one, but I just want to find out and like use it up because also I don't know when she bought hers. So yeah, this I think was either a gift or I purchased it. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills in Naked. On a lot of other people, this is a pretty nude. And I don't know if my camera will show it, but this is creamsicle orange when I put it on my lips. As I've said before, I really hate orange. I actually started in 2017 a Color I Hate project pan, and this was in it. And I sort of had to give up on that project. Not give up, but like I paused it because people like orange, so nobody was that into... I was very excited about panning stuff that I didn't like in a way that made me like it, but because a lot of people like orange, it wasn't something a lot of people could relate to. Like, orange eyeshadow and stuff like that is really in, like the warm eyeshadow stuff. And I know some people are saying they're getting sick of it, but like, people still love it. So, when you come on to Instagram or whatever and you're like, oh, I hate orange and I'm panning everything that's even remotely orange in my collection, like, I didn't get hate, but it wasn't going to get the same type of reception, I don't know if that's the right word, as like a Pan That palette of something that I actually like. So I figured I'm not going to update that all the time because there aren't enough people that want to see it, and I like posting stuff that people want to see because that's kind of the point. So I'm just throwing this in my regular project pan for this year. I think I layered this with this on top. Or no, this and then this on top. Or maybe the other way around, I don't know. I like these together because it's like a bright pink with a nudie orange. Sort of makes a pinky nude on me. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try and mix it with other things, but that's sort of the point for me of Project Pan, is taking products that are either old or finishing things that are old, finishing things that you want to focus on, or taking things you don't like and making them work. I think I've tried this over this before, it just makes it a paler orange. That's not going to work. I know this isn't supposed to be for lip liner, it's a reverse lip liner, but I've tried it as lip liner and it's okay. For me, this is all about using up products if I have a specific reason for wanting to use it up, and finding ways to use products I didn't like before, either to use them up or to learn how to love them. I highly doubt I'm going to find that I love this by the end, so that's just going to leave my collection. I don't know if I'll be repurchasing the blushes if I were to finish them. I'm not sure. I do like the formula of this. I didn't know if I was going to, but I really do. I'm repurchasing this and this, of course, because I love them. This color I really love. I want to find it in another formula. I didn't find one from Bite. I don't know. I'll keep looking. This is very similar to the NYX corset from the Lip Lingerie, but I hate that formula more than this one. So I might just layer those and finish it like that. I'm not sure, but. So this is my list of everything so far. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not about to sit here and count how many products that is, but it's a lot of lipstick, but it's not a lot in terms of number. So I feel like it's a good difficulty level for me, considering I've been panning for a long time. Like, I feel like when I'm panning products, it's not a challenge anymore for a lot of things. So I wanted to give myself a challenge this year, and my challenge was a shit ton of lipstick, 2 blushes, and for Pan That palette, 2 palettes, and 3 singles. Like, let me see if I can get it all in one frame. Like, this is everything I'm panning this year. That's it in written form. I feel like this is a good challenge for me as someone who's been panning for a long time, because it's, in my opinion, high difficulty level, even though for just the Project Pan it's a low number. For Pan That palette, that's a large number, but I'm not going into it expecting to finish everything, but I want to see if I can finish at least one whole palette. I'm thinking it's going to be the Naked 2, or maybe just my goal should be to finish 12 total, because that would count as a whole palette. Depending on how much product is left in them, I might depot the rest by the end of the year, but my plan is to leave them in the packaging. Same goes for the singles and the blushes. And at the end of the year, we'll see what happens. I would love for you to tell me what you're panning this year, or if you have a YouTube channel, let me know, and I'd love to see your intro videos. And let me know if you're panning anything that I am this year, and maybe we can pan stuff together and like give each other tips or whatever. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the products I've picked, and it'll be entertaining to follow, I think. I'm not going to be doing the updates together. I just figured the intro would be short enough that I could put them both in one video. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! So, I'm just adding this at the end really quick because I hit pan on Sidecar as I did my makeup this morning, which means that I've hit pan on 4 eyeshadows now in this palette. So, my Instagram update hasn't been done yet, because I haven't been able to take pictures yet, so this will probably be on Instagram. Well, this will be what the intro looks like, but I guess I'll just say this is the starting point. I'm not sure, because today's the 2nd, so technically I should have filmed an intro yesterday, but I was at a New Year's Eve or New Year's thing. I spent the night at my friend's house, so I couldn't film over there. I also wanted to quickly mention that I forgot to say, in order to not let my new eyeshadows go bad, I'm going to be using whatever I want on the weekends for eyes and face, but specifically for eyes, because what happens is I get presents for Christmas and then immediately it's the new year and I'm supposed to be panning, so then I have all these new products sitting around, and then my birthday is in February, so in like a month and a half after starting my project and a little over a month and a half after Christmas, I'm getting more stuff, and sorry, I had to move. And so it's just like, it doesn't seem smart for me to continue to get gifts knowing they're going to be sitting around and panning old stuff. But I'm thinking for the beginning and for towards the end of the year, I'm definitely going to be just focusing on this stuff, even on the weekends. But I'm giving myself the weekend to make that choice. And I think that's all I have to say. Okay, this is the actual end of the video. Bye.